To look at the off-Broadway play N.A. about the imagined relationship of two characters who very closely resemble Speaker Emerita Nancy Pelosi and Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. The characters, referred to only as N and A, clash repeatedly over their political identities, their governing philosophies, and their visions for the future of the country. And joining us now, the show's co-stars, Emmy-winning, Tony-nominated actress Holland Taylor and actress Anna Villafane. Good morning to you both. We're so happy to have you here.
It's so fun to have you.
So, Holland, I feel like I was dancing around who the N and A really are. Can we just assume that it's Nancy Pelosi and AOC?
That's where the characters take off from, that basic idea of those people. But it's not a realistic play that takes place in real rooms about real events. It's all imagined. It's like a wonderful exercise, a really brilliant dialogue that goes through various scenes, and it takes place just in the void of their ideas and their conflicting ideas. They're 3 generations apart, which is the point, too.
Right. And I want to talk about your character, but I also want to talk about what it's like to work with the woman sitting to your right. Holland Taylor, what an experience this has been.
It is a masterclass every single day. I feel very fortunate. I feel like I'm learning. I think it's fun. We have fun. We have a trust. Yeah. It's like a dance. I keep describing it as either like jazz, like it's alive, very, very much alive, or like a tango type thing where it's like, you know, we're leading and following and listening.
It's pure theater in that sense.
It really is.
It's not in a real place. It's a real dialogue that changes from, sometimes it's angry, sometimes it's very pleasant, sometimes it's neutral. I have to tell you about this girl. I'm kind of micro. I see a tree. I examine the tree very closely. I'm all wrapped up in the tree. And she sees the whole woods. She has an overview of anything she does. And I have a micro view of what I'm doing at that moment. So when we're having our early previews, we have blackouts. It goes dead black. And I'm like, what's next? I mean, I had no idea. And the first couple of times I said to her in the dark, because we were close to it, went dark, and I said, help.
And I'm like happy to oblige. You know, I'm like, just go that way.
So you're leading the dance sometimes.
But I know where I am.
Yes, now.
I know. But the first couple of times it's like, I grab her.
Yeah.
And I say, what's next? She said, the big speech. Oh, okay.
Jen, you know both of the players here, the real life players.
Yeah, I know the players,
yes.
and of course I worked for Hillary Clinton. I'm a big observer of women leaders of all generations. And so, Anna, what's so interesting is that you use them as a jumping off point. And something that I thought of, when, for example, when Hillary ran, and there were a lot of younger people that thought, she was too old and to establish me. And I was like, young woman protesting on the campus. She was the radical. She was on the cover of Life magazine when she was 22 years old because she had given this very radical commencement speech at Wellesley. And so there's talk about the conversation between you women. Is it because you were in some mirror image of each other in some ways, 3 generations apart? With Pelosi, it was an older white woman that was the pioneer, and now it's young women of color. What's that conversation like when you're trying to get it past just the 2 characters, but to like something bigger within culture?
I think the exchange within within our context, which is these concepts, these ideas, and sharing them and trying to find the commonality. I think exploring this type of dialogue, especially right now, is hugely important, especially for women. I think we don't have the time or space or luxury quotes, air quotes, to be apathetic. I think it's hugely important for audiences to come and experience this dialogue between 2 intelligent women. I think the points of view and just the perspective from life experience, regardless of how much time that has been, because age obviously is a factor, but the experiences that A has, N does not have. Right. And then obviously the life experience that N has, A does not have. So I think that both can learn from each other. And I think that right now, especially as a society, we could use that.
I just want to mention the author.
Yes.
Mario
Yeah.
Correa. He's written a movie called Dark Waters. He's had other plays. I forget the title. I think this is his first sort of New York production of a play. When I read it, I didn't get past 30 pages before I called my agent up and said, I have to do this. I'm sure your reaction is the same. But it is the most sparkling, brilliantly clever, and yet very human dialogue I've ever encountered in recent memory, certainly. It's really remarkable. And it's like a great piano exercise or a fugue. It goes, it's musical, it's lyrical, and it's very, very brilliant intellectually. So it's a real challenge to do it, actually.
I was nervous. I was nervous when I first got it because I was like, with these themes, with these characters, we live in such polarizing times, and I was nervous that it could have gone a different way, but it did go the human route, and it does kind of untangle, like when a necklace is tangled or something, it does kind of untangle things and put them in a space with like very brave choices.
Yes.
Like we're saying a lot of truths and a lot of things that go usually, I think, unsaid. And I think that's what I love about it.
Like the differences between the generations, resentments between the generations.
There's three generations apart.
Right.
If you count a generation between 15 and 20 years, there are 3 generations apart. That's really illuminating. But also the writing is so elegant that it really lands. And you can actually feel the audience getting some understanding of the backstage machinations of government that they might not have had. And certainly we get that comment from people who come to the show. Totally. It's like, I was so fascinated to discover yada, yada, yada. And
without it being this cat fight, without it becoming this kind of what I was hoping it wouldn't be, which is what I love, is that it does remain in that space of elegance. It does remain in that space of like, what are we fighting for, not who are we fighting against.
And it's never a cat fight.
Constant, exactly.
Well, although we fight. We have a couple of fights, but they're ideological fights.
Yes.
These are people who have passion about principles, passion about ideas, and that's what the play is about.
And we've seen that play out in real life between Nancy Pelosi sometimes and AOC, sometimes publicly, and then they'll meet behind closed doors. They come from different places, but they value each other, and they each know that they can learn from the other.
There's a respect. And there's a respect. There's a mutual respect that we definitely
sort of like ours.
Yeah, which is major.
And it's at Lincoln Center. It's intimate. It's so well done, as you can imagine, with these two. The off-Broadway play N.A., playing now at the Mitzi E. Newhouse Theater at Lincoln Center here in New York through August the 4th. Co-stars Holland Taylor, Anna Villafane. Thank you.
And
so
directed
much.
by Diane Paulus.
Exactly.
Superbly. Nice. We were lucky to get her.
All right. Nice. Through August 4th. Check it out at Lincoln Center. Great to see you both.
Thank you.
We'll be right back with more Morning Joe.